trading at its best.
I've been trading the markets for about 10 years. I'm Mike Swanson, and we've been teaching traders for about half that time. So you should get a lot out of these webinars. I know we've got a lot of comments with traders that are making money with just a simple, simple free training that I do. So pay attention through these, take notes. You can review the recordings on the blog, TradeWestForex.com/blog. So let's dive in now and take a look at what we're going to be doing today, what we're going to be talking about. How to be on the winning side of news. A lot of people that even technical trade seem to always get caught on the wrong side of the news. And so I actually did some research over the years and found a way you can get a simple rule you can use to get a slight edge. All you need is a small edge, and I'm going to show you one today that will give you the probability of being on the right side of it. And I'm actually going to show you I just made 182 pips on the Euro Australia dollar yesterday. So I want to show you this trade and how I use the same rule on that trade as well, and how the rule kind of lined up just perfectly. So we'll do that. It'll be a short little training, probably less than 10 minutes, and then we will do some Q&A. So let's talk about it. How do you gain an edge around news time? This is really simple, and some of you are going to think this doesn't work, but trust me, I've tested this and it works. Okay, all you need to do is check the direction the market has been moving over the last week. Okay, we'll go to some charts here in a minute and show you this. But look at the direction the market's been moving, and then hold trades that are in the same direction, or if you're entering trades, make sure they're in the same direction of that major trend. And if you have trades that are against that major trend for the last week, close them. Because here's the thing, the probability of the market after news going in the same direction it's been going the last week, that probability is higher than it going than actually changing the trend direction of the market. Okay, the only exceptions I've really seen that might be kind of more random, I guess you could say, is things like the non-farm payroll, where if there's a significant deviation from in the news, that can cause the trend to shift directions or to whipsaw, and those events you want to be careful with. And the reason that happens is because the non-farm payroll, for example, is an event that the analysts have a hard time predicting. They have a hard time forecasting it, and therefore when they deviate, it deviates a lot from their forecasts, and the market responds with high volatility. Okay, so what makes this work? Why does trading in that major direction, why is that giving you an edge? Well, the market starts to factor in the news several days before it's even released. A lot of you have probably seen this, even on non-farm payroll week. Usually it's on Fridays, first Friday of the month, and throughout that whole entire week, the markets seem to behave differently, right? If you're a day trader, you probably see this all the time, where the market's constantly making these large moves, or it's just behaving rapidly. You're not able to have very good technical signals, things like that. That's all happening because big players in the market are adjusting their positions and preparing for the news. They have their own predictions of where the market's going to go. So they will start to adjust things beforehand. Okay, so that kind of sets the direction that the big players are predicting the market's going to go. So we want to trade positions in that direction, and that's why this is working so well. Okay, it's not going to make it so you win 80 or 90% of the time, but I mean, even if you're right 60 or 70, that's an edge that can make you a profitable trader. Okay, so here's the thing about those big traders, those institutional traders, the long-term traders. They keep their positions and sometimes add to them, and that will result in additional pressure on the market when the news event is released. They're wanting the market to go, for example, if they want it to go up, they're going to start pushing the market at the beginning of the week, and then around news time, they're going to protect the market, their market positions, with sell limit orders. or sorry, buy limit orders just below the market. So if the market does test down, it's going to push it back up. And that can be seen on the market sentiment tool, which I can bring that over here real quick. Okay, you can see the pressure of limit orders from all the retail market and big players. When you see these heavy dark areas, that's the market trying to protect short positions on this when you see this red dark area. So that's why the market just kept pushing lower and lower and lower, and when news is coming out, it was more likely to go down. Okay, then when it got down here to this green, this is where it's struggling now to break lower. So if this could cause a trend to shift back up and make an uptrend. But if you want some more information on this market sentiment, we've got strategies on it. It's all in the blog, all recorded. We have replays up there, and you have some articles you can read. So just go to the TradeWestForex.com/blog. Okay. Now, I know some of you, I've got some comments of you, if you go look back at, say, news last night or the last couple of days, and you find that, a couple of them, or majority of them, didn't go the direction of the major trend. The idea of this is it's not going to work every single time, and sometimes it's not going to work 2 or 3 times in a row. So you can't just go look at a couple setups and say, oh, well, it doesn't work. I've tested this over hundreds of trades, and I know over the long term you have an edge. But I'll go show you, the way to do this on the charts, because we want to make sure you're picking the correct trend direction based on what the market looks like, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let's keep moving here. Let me bring up those charts. Let's do that. Let's go show you some examples, and then I'll show you my trade example as well. Okay, so here I've got Momentix. I've got a system that's running and trading that, and you can see how it's just been killing it for the last week. Hasn't had a losing trade. But these trades, most of these that you're seeing that hit profit yesterday were because they were on the correct side of the market during news. So Australia, the Australia dollar, the Australia currency had some news yesterday, which we can see that on our Informer tool. Go over here to news, and we can scroll down to the 16th here. Let's see. Actually, I think I got to turn this back on. Change my filter here. Australia. Okay. So here we are. Australia dollar. The Australia currency had a their employment change and unemployment rate. Okay, so those numbers are kind of similar to how like the non-farm payroll affects the market. They're big indicators for the country. So so those numbers were released at 12:30 a.m. GMT, and then when that came out, the market really reacted rapidly. It had a lot of volatility. Okay, so it came out, and if you look over here, we had a short position. Okay, the short position was in. Then the market news came out and pushed it all the way down here where it's at now, and we're still on that trade actually. Still on that one, up another 93. I started to scale out. But anyways, look at the major trend direction on the market here. There's a lot of pressure pushing it down. So when that news came out, there was a higher probability of the market pushing down further, like it did. Okay, and this is a long term on the daily charts. But if you just go look at the last, just the last couple days before the event was released. So here was Monday. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was all downhill. So when the news came out Thursday, there was a higher probability that it was going to go down. So we have our short position, we hold on to it, and we write it down. Okay, we could look here. There's another one. Australia, New Zealand made about 150 pips. Euro Australia's in here with 130. I'll show you my trade where I did 170 pips. But let's look at a couple of these. Let's see. I've got scroll over here to Australia, New Zealand. It'll be the same type of setup. See this? Major trends down, and then if we just look at the beginning of the week, market was heading down, news comes out, pushes it really nicely down to our targets. Okay, and then we've got the Euro Australia. I'll show you here the Momentix trade, then I'll show you my Forex 3D trade actually that someone's just commenting about. So yeah, this one did the same thing, except it was to the upside because you're trading euro against the Australia. You can see again on this one, couple of days of solid up movement just before the news, and then the news comes out and pushed it up to our target. Okay, really easy to use. Just trade in that same direction the market's been moving for the last couple of days just before the news event. Okay, and let's see. Let me grab my other. Let's actually just go grab the Informer tool. We just recently made a pretty big update to Informer where now you can actually trade from the tool. You can actually execute trades on your accounts. And so I'll show you my account here. I took this trade right there. Okay, this was the Forex 3D 1% break trade. And we took that trade and made 182 pips. You can see we got in long at 52.71, got out at 54.53. Okay, so that I could show you that trade on here. Let's show you. It was the same thing as this one pretty much, just I got it at a different price. But let's go grab another chart anyway. Put it on this 1 hour chart. Okay, so I had a position. You can see here's that big long bar on this 1 hour candle. That's when the news was released. Okay, I was already in this trade. Let me go. I'll mark this on here for you. I guess we can delete that. You can see on this trade, I was already in on the 15th. We're going to update this so it actually shows you the timestamp in here, not just the date. But anyways, I was already in this at 52.72. Okay, so that would have been right here. Okay, I can't remember if, let me see. You know, I think it was about right here we got in. I had to go look at the actual account. But let me draw this on here for you. Okay, so anyways, we bought somewhere right in here, I think. Doesn't really matter for this example. It might have been over here, it might have been here. Either way, I was in the trade before the news that happened right there on that candle that just shot it up here to our targets. And my target, if we go back over here, was 54.54 basically. So if we round that off, 54.54. I was able to get out almost at the top of that on that trade. But anyways, you can see I got out right there, and it was a really nice trade. Here was the recent move coming up before the news. The market had moved 200 pips since Monday. Market was trending up, made a little pullback. I entered right here. News comes out, continues the market up. Okay, so like I'd say, don't expect to be able to go back and look at the last 10 news events and find it working 7 out of 10 of those. If you go look at the last 100 events, we would expect, 60 or so, or maybe more, of those to be in your favor. And like I say, that's all you need is just a little higher probability that it's going to go and do what you expected. And here's another thing, okay? My stop on this trade was only, let's see if we can go back over here. My stop on this trade was, oh, it's closed out now. I'm not going to be able to see it. We need to add that column in here too. But anyways, I think it was like 60 pips. Okay, so that's another thing is with these types of setups, you can definitely tighten things up. Okay, I kept my stop, maybe it was like 80. I'm not 100% on what that was. But anyway, it was a really small stop compared to the profit I made. So my risk to reward was really good. So with that said, I probably only have to win 30 or 40% of the time if I can do this, 30 to 40% of the time, and I'm with this setups, and I'm still going to make money. Hopefully you guys are seeing it's not difficult to build a winning strategy in the Forex markets. What the problem is so many traders are looking for systems that win 70, 80, 90% of the time, and they want that to happen every single week. They don't know how to go through typical drawdown periods and how to stick with something. So if you follow this little strategy I taught you, or any other strategy I've been teaching you guys on the blog and in these webinars, just keep in mind that you need to stay focused with it, stick with it for at least, I like to give something a year unless it's just completely falling apart in the first couple months. But if you do that, you can be successful with this stuff. Okay? I've built several systems that just sit there and run and pull in money. I mean, they're not doubling my account every month or anything crazy like that, but they're bringing consistent long-term results, which is what you should be focusing on. Okay, so let's bounce back over here to the presentation slides here. We'll wrap this up. We'll do the Q&A here in just a minute. So I've been showing you guys some of the things on Informer. If you don't have this tool, this is where you can get automatic news notifications, so you're never in the dark when news events are coming out. It'll automatically pop up and tell you. You can configure all of that. You'll have the market sentiment information to see the pressure on the market before the news even comes out. So like I was showing you here, you could go on to that Euro Australia that I was trading. Actually, I don't know if, yeah, it's in there. Okay. And we could set this to 7 days. Okay, and before that news came out, you could see where all the pressure is at on the market, where all the support and resistance is at, and see what traders are doing just before the news is released. Okay, so you can get that. You can access all of the other features. You can actually trade on the tool now, and we've actually got charting. A charting tab will be coming soon. There's lots of stuff coming down the road, and we're constantly making updates and additions to it. It seems like every week or two. So you can download that at TradeWestForex.com/informer. I'll post that here real quick in the chat. We just did an update on this actually yesterday, so make sure you've got the latest version. You can always go down and click the About button and check. It does do automatic updates, but if you want to be sure, just go down here and hit Check for Updates, and it'll tell you if you have the latest version or not, which currently is 1.049 as of this webinar date. So, okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this short little training. We're going to go ahead and move into the Q&A now.